Have you ever heard the term attention deficit disorder and immediately pictured a hyperactive child bouncing off the walls? While that's a common image of ADHD, there's another side that's often overlooked: inattentive ADHD, sometimes still called ADD. Today, we're diving into 10 signs of inattentive ADHD that might surprise you. But remember, this isn't a diagnosis, just a starting point for understanding. If any of this resonates, talking to a professional is the best next step. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, is a behavioral syndrome characterized by inattention and/or impulsivity that interferes with functioning or development. These symptoms typically persist for at least 6 months. Most people think of ADHD as the hyperactive kid running around the classroom, but inattentive ADHD looks more like the quiet student staring out the window, lost in thought, while the work piles up unnoticed, like it's auditioning for a daydreaming award. So, what are the signs? Let's break them down. Sign 1. Not paying close attention to details. Trouble staying tuned. This shows up as careless mistakes that seem avoidable, like missing key info in assignments, overlooking instructions at work, or forgetting small but important steps in daily routines. It's not about not caring. The brain with inattentive ADHD often skips over finer points because maintaining that level of vigilance is exhausting. Over time, this can lead to frustration and self-doubt, as others might label it as sloppiness. One of the main things people with ADHD complain about is trouble staying tuned. When listening, reading, or working, they get part of it, but then it drifts off, they snap back briefly, and drift again. It's like a cell phone in poor reception. The message fades in and out, leaving frustrating gaps that make grasping the full picture a constant challenge. Sign 2. Appearing unusually tranquil or inactive. It's like being a Zen master. If Zen masters had a playlist of random cat videos on loop. ADHD is often linked to hyperactivity, but that's not the full story. People with inattentive ADHD might seem calm or even dreamy on the outside, misinterpreted as being chill or low energy. In reality, this inactivity stems from an internal struggle with focus. Their attention drifts away uncontrollably. In a classroom or meeting, it might look like zoning out during instructions or struggling to stick with one activity for long. It's not laziness, it's a brain that's quietly overwhelmed. They also have a real problem with distractions. Like anyone, they notice sounds or thoughts around them, but pushing those aside to focus is tough. In class, a dropped pencil pulls them away, they check it, refocus for minutes, then drift to last night's TV show or a conversation from hours ago, snapping back only to wander to the window. This internal ping-pong exhausts them, even as they appear composed. Sign 3. Frequent bouts of boredom. If it's something I'm interested in, I can pay attention, if not. Getting bored quickly isn't unusual, brains crave stimulation. But in ADHD, frequent bouts signal a deeper difficulty sustaining mental effort. Minds race through ideas so fast that routine tasks feel dull, or overwhelming environments trigger a shutdown into boredom as protection. Constantly seeking novelty to stay engaged? That's a clue. Everyone I've seen with ADHD has a few passions where attention flows effortlessly, despite struggles elsewhere. Asked why, they say, if it's something I'm interested in, I can pay attention. If not, I can't. Sure, that's true for anyone, but here the gap is extreme. Hyperfocus on interests feels magical, while unengaging tasks spark rapid disinterest, turning daily life into a fight against mental fog. Sign 4. Trouble staying organized and getting started. It's as if your to-do list is playing hide and seek, and it's winning every time. One common issue is trouble getting organized and started. For many, it's difficulty with their stuff. The backpack, desk, notebooks, filing, or living space ends up messier than most, unless someone helps maintain it. Others handle objects fine but struggle with time and work. If I have a bunch of tasks, it's hard to prioritize. Okay, first, second, third, they say. But even when they get their priorities straight, which often doesn't happen, they tend to have a lot of difficulty getting started. Sign 5. Trouble regulating sleep and staying alert. Many report difficulty regulating sleep, alertness, and sustaining effort to finish things timely. They stay up later than wanted. If I try bed before exhaustion, my head won't shut off, I keep thinking, so they read, watch TV, or surf until wiped out, then crash hard. But mornings? I sleep like the dead and struggle to resurrect myself, leading to snooze button marathons, lateness, or oversleeping without external help. During the day, they're usually all right as long as they're on their feet moving around or talking a lot. But if they have to sit still for very long, to listen, or to read, or do paperwork, the eyelids start getting kind of heavy. Sign 6. Avoiding tasks that require sustained focus. Procrastination. The art of keeping up with yesterday, while ignoring tomorrow. Trouble staying on task. If paperwork, long reads, or detailed projects spark dread, it's classic avoidance. These demand steady attention that's hard to muster, so procrastination shields the brain. It snowballs from small delays into major stress, as starting feels like scaling a mountain. They often begin tasks well, but they have a hard time then keeping up the effort to finish it in a reasonable time. Everybody struggles sometimes, but for ADD, it's almost like they can't get started until it's becoming an emergency. Sign 7. Trouble with organizing thoughts when writing. Another thing that often persons with ADHD have trouble with is writing. I'm not talking about penmanship now. I'm talking about taking ideas and putting them into sentences and paragraphs. Because what people say is, often, I've got a lot of ideas for what I should write for this essay I'm supposed to write or for this term paper, but it just takes me half of forever to be able to get the sentences and paragraphs put together so they make sense. I'm either changing it or it's just disorganized. They have difficulty organizing their thoughts and being able to get the words out in a reasonable way. Sign 8. Difficulty managing emotions. Not official criteria, but many struggle managing emotions, which is like a computer virus in the head. For example, walking the office hall, spotting a friend reading papers, you say, "Hey, what's up?" He nods hi and keeps walking. Most shrug it off as hurry, not them. They may get nothing done for the rest of the day. Spending all afternoon thinking, did I do something to annoy him? Or maybe I did something to offend somebody in his department and they're all angry with me. Or maybe I'm just the kind of person that nobody likes, and nobody would tell me about it. Or a sudden urge surges. I need this now, ignoring cost, timing, or priorities. The push relentless until satisfied, or blocked, but joy fades to the next craving. Now, it's not like anybody with ADD has all this stuff. But many will have one or some combination of a couple of them. But what they have in common is that the emotion, whether it's the hurt feelings or, I've got to have it now, or, what would happen if, comes and just sort of gobbles up all the space in their head. And it's very difficult for them to put it in perspective, to put it to the back of their mind and get on with what they've got to do. Sign 9. Forgetfulness in daily activities. Another thing that's very important for people with ADHD is their working memory. If you ask folks who have ADHD, how's your memory? Often they'll say, I've got the best memory in my family. I can remember stuff nobody else can remember. They boast strong long-term recall. I remember a 10-year-old movie's full plot. But recent stuff? Spotty. It's short-term working memory failing. Entering a room and blanking on why. Class answer evaporates while waiting to speak. Reading without absorbing. Test prep vanishes by exam time. Just before the last sign, don't forget to subscribe and like SCI&Psych for more. Your support fuels us. Sign 10. Difficulty managing actions. Many people with ADHD have difficulty slowing down when they need to slow down and speeding up when they need to speed up. Often they have difficulty in monitoring their actions. Or they'll jump into something without thinking about, what's going to happen if I do this? And remember, all of these are things everybody has trouble with sometimes. It's just that people with ADD have a lot more trouble with them. So the question is not does it ever happen, but how much does it happen? How much does it interfere with the person's being able to do the things they have to do in their daily life? Inattentive ADHD can be invisible, even to those experiencing it, but recognizing these signs is the first step toward support. You're not broken, you're just wired differently, and that's okay.